when do you use compensation? Like, what are the right levers in recruiting? So is it compensation, culture, role, title? How do you like to use those? And how does it maybe change as the company matures as well?
Yeah, I think you want to really understand what is the person is valuing, because there are going to be those people. Again, it goes to understanding what the person wants and also what you can offer that person. You'll find, or I've found in my career, that there's going to be people who are very comp oriented, but most people aren't. Most people are oriented because they want to have fun. They want at work, right? They're looking to do something interesting. And you can get a lot of talented people. It's something I learned at SoFi, who are later in their career, who actually are financially self-sufficient and just want to be part of something that's part of the future, right? They just want to be part of the future. And so you can get a lot of people that are maybe not necessarily focused on the $20,000 increase in salary, but are just focused on, look, I'm so excited to be here and be a part of what we're doing and learn. And that's a huge segment of the talent pool in the market, right? There's a lot of people who are successful who are no longer among quality people to recruit, right? A lot of people are already successful and aren't necessarily motivated by only money. Then you get people who are interested in expanding their scope, right? They may be, I was a chief of staff, but I don't want to be a career chief of staff. And when I hear that opportunity, I'm like, okay, this person might be interested in, I might be able to afford this person for this role because a version of their comp is that they get to do something a bit different, right, than what they've done previously. And I think that's a form of comp too, is learning and expanding and diversifying. And so I think at least my approach is to understand what we can pay in all these types of compensation, which is just not only cash and stock. Understand what we can pay, but also understand what people are looking for, and then you can get that match.
Do you teach your teams to try to listen for what that person is really looking for once they come in the door? Like, how do you help train people to listen properly for that? Because I think a lot of people just default back to cash compensation, title, sort of simplistic things.
I probably could do a better job of that, hearing you ask that question. However, there's a few people that I've spent a lot of time with teaching them that approach. And that, again, back to 80-20, right? Like, it's probably not that effective for me to go teach this to every person managing 2 to 3 people. I think where I've tried to do this importantly is around the teams that manage lots of people, which are typically engineering and operations. And so that's where I'm going to spend more time on this concept. And that's where you also need to have, I think, the right systems in place that allow people to progress through their career, because people always want to feel like they're making progress. And so how do you set up systems within large groups of people that allow for that? Because you can't do this kind of one-on-one career planning and mentorship in organizations of 50 to 250 people as well.
You need to keep changing what you do and how you do it each time the company makes a big change. And speaking of that a little bit, how did that work for you at Brex? I mean, you were at Brex for almost 8.5 years, right? So like, how did you handle the constant changes? I mean, like, that must have been, I think Brex for a long time was almost like blitzscaling, right? Just massive growth. They hit on to me that was perfectly timed for the market. The market needed it. How did you keep changing the systems internally to manage that? I mean, you were CFO, CBO, COO, every sort of title there, essentially.
Well, in the beginning, as you said, our goal was just to grow as fast as we could. We felt it was a land grab. And I think that it's the big macro moments that sort of, at least for us at Brex, that changed how we approach things. So founded in 2017, kind of approached that way until 2020. COVID changed things pretty materially. But then it was also pretty clearly an e-commerce boom during COVID, which was a big part of what we did. And so kind of following those key macro trends and leaning into that, because anything digital at that time was booming. But then that quickly changed in sort of the fall of 21. It began to change early 22 rates and started to change inflation. And then the environment really changed. And we then had to pivot again to be more, reflect that environment of more austerity, within SVB being quite a big moment for the early stage tech ecosystem, of which Brex is such a big part of. That moment was then clearly a time for all hands on deck and focus on systems, risk, fraud, but and then at the same time, I think we did a great job capitalizing on that opportunity. So for me, a lot of these things were kind of macro.